Welcome to the Security in 5 podcast. I'm Drew, the binary blogger. This is a daily show talking about news, tips, and opinions focused on IT and cybersecurity related topics for everyone. I believe we all have some security responsibility, whether it's at your home, school, work, or personal life as we use technology. The more aware you are of the security world around you, the more secure you can be. Thank you for listening. This is Security in 5. Episode 951 of Security in 5, and today I want to talk about passwords and password vaults. And in fact, this comes in from a loyal podcast subscriber, Ben. So Ben sent in a question. A lot of the questions and topics that I get, I turn into podcast episodes, and Ben was kind enough to ask a question around passwords. And if you've listened to the podcast, you're a subscriber, you know that I'm a big pro password vault and password management, don't write things down, that sort of thing. But here's a scenario that came in that got me thinking, and I want to do a podcast episode around it because it is somewhat relatable in this current, pandemic situation, and people start thinking about the what if scenarios. But here's his story. So you often suggest security practices that are safe but inconvenient. Well, that first statement's kind of harsh. Security is a little bit inconvenient, but it's a good with the bad. But in any case, moving on. When my father died in April, about 10 years ago, I needed quick access to his bank accounts to pay his taxes. Thankfully, his passwords were, you guessed it, on notes under his keyboard. So what's the equivalent today? And so using password vaults, obviously, it is a zero trust system. Your vault is your vault. So a lot of the paid services, and this is why I push for paid services, because you get a lot of features and benefits and security and comfort knowing these types of things. But a lot of the main password vaults, and I did some research before I did this podcast episode, and more are adding these features, have what they call emergency access. And there are now services starting to pop up around that allow you to grant emergency access to somebody that you trust. So I use LastPass, a couple of others I've used with, and how it works is that you grant emergency access to a spouse or to a family member. They have to go through some additional steps to accept that, and then once that is set up, like for LastPass, for example, you can set a time frame that, okay, if they access my vault, they can access it for 24 hours, 5 days, or whatever. And that is one option to use in the event that you, the owner of the vault, become incapacitated or worse, in the event of death. You need to have your digital life taken care of. But if it's in a vault and you have that master password, no one else can get access to it, not even the services that house that vault. So that is one option, is emergency access. The other one is that you write down your master password and put it into a safety deposit box, put it into a safe, secure the heck out of it. Don't just leave it on a Post-it note on your desk, but then grant them full access to the master password. The third option is that you can export from time to time your password vault, and everything, all of the accounts, the information, your digital notes, everything like that will come down in a CSV file. Take that file, put it onto an encrypted USB drive, or print off the spreadsheet, put that into a safe. That way then all of your accounts, all of your passwords are printed, but also secured in a physically secured safe. So really those are the three options that you have, and you do have to think about those types of things, that going into the convenient or inconvenient security processes, and you have to assess your risk. What is the risk of X, Y, and Z? Now, what I can tell you is that keeping your passwords in a digital file on your PC is not the proper solution. If you notice, I didn't recommend that, because too many times I see through my own personal security research and through other breaches and things like that, that if you have a CSV file or an Excel file in your My Documents folder, somewhere in there, and somebody gets on your machine, it will be found. And that digital file will be found. So either have an encrypted file, or just don't keep it on that particular PC. Keep it onto a storage media or several copies of storage media, and physically remove that. Because if you're hit by ransomware, if you're hit by some type of Trojan or worm or some other type of virus or malware that are copying files down, and you have all 200-300 accounts with all your clear text passwords for your banks and health and social security and what have you on your PC, that's gone, poof, and it's irrelevant. That's why you push for vaults. But you also need to think about the what ifs, that if something should happen to you, what are the scenarios that your family, that your friends can get at your digital files, get at your locations, get at other potentially estate types of files that you have backed up on cloud storage, et cetera, et cetera. Many of hundreds of types of scenarios that in the event that you are not able to use it in one way or the other, some other people can, and that is done through generally the emergency access features of the particular vault going in, or export your vault, print it off, and put it into a safe, and just make sure that trusted individuals are the ones that have access to it. Spouses, close family members, adult children, whatever. So those are really the options when you go into those zero trust systems. Is that either you control it, and if you're gone, and all your digital life goes with it and is lost forever, or these are the alternatives to ensure that people can get access to it in the horrible event that you are unable to. Security in 5. Be aware, be safe. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Security in 5. If you have any questions on today's episode or any suggestions for future content, feel free to drop me a line. Reach out to me at Twitter, post a question on the Reddit channel, or go ahead and drop me an email. If you want to continue to support the show, you can head over to the Patreon site. All the links are in the show notes of every episode. And remember, be aware, be safe. Thanks for listening.